So I'm just chilling, and Kitty has decided my boob is a perfect place to take a nap. Is it comfy? She's so goddamn cute.
Ohio! Hello everybody! My name is Yashiroreaper. I'm going to be doing an art stream here for you guys. Give me 1 second, I'm just checking out that the stream is live and doing its shit. Gonna go to the live stream because I need to edit name, focus options, name. Alright. We're live with the proper shit. So hello everybody, my name is Yashiroreaper. If you do not know me, I am a streamer, artist, and just general content creator on the internet. I do streams over here on Twitch. I also do videos over on YouTube and TikTok. TikTok's mostly stuff from my cat and stream highlights and occasional randomness from me. YouTube is stream logs and then vlogs I do occasionally. I'm actually going to be doing one soon. It's kind of a day in my life kind of vloggy thing. Anyways, other things I do is I do fan art, I do fan fiction, and I also create 2 webcomics, which I'm currently working on one of them. I've been working on the drafting for a couple months now because my brain is fried. So I was like, okay, 2 months, I can get this out, and then I'll start really thinking about it. I'm thinking half a chapter a month, but right now I'm trying to get this 1 chapter done because I've been off for 2 months. So I've got almost all the pages drafted. So now I'm drafting them from paper onto my computer, and then I do the finalized work, and I do the shading and all that shit. So we're going to be working on how many pages I can get from drafting on paper to drafting on here, so that I can, get this done in time, because I want to have it done by the end of this month. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. And I don't really do what was I gonna say? Good job. Brain today has failed me twice. I also had worked earlier today, so that was fun. I actually don't mind I like my job currently, but I get kind of weird after a shift. And I'm also looking for a second job right now because my current job I don't get enough hours to pay for everything. Currently I'm using some money I had saved up from when COVID hit. The government was like, hey, your work's cut off, so here's some money. And I'm like, sweet, that happened to me, so let's go. But now I'm kind of off of that because my job was able to give me hours, but it will never go up to the hours where. And anyways, the time I had to get the full-time hours I was supposed to get, that program expired, so I currently am no longer able to get that stuff. And also the Canadian government was like, hey, you can only apply for this now if you have lost 50% of your income. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't apply to me. Yeah, I'm working on shit right now. Just good. So I'm working on getting a second job, but a lot of places, I don't know what the fuck people's deal is with part-time jobs, where they're just like, hey, we want people for a part-time job, but you need to be available all the time. And I'm like, I have another job. This is why I'm looking for another part-time job. So, the fuck you want? And I don't think they really understand that. Hey, I have a job, and it happens in the mornings, and I work, because they're shorter shifts, to get, even part-time hours, the part-time hours I want, around 20 hours a week, I get there. 20, yeah, around 20. my 20 hours a week to get that, I have to work 5 or 6 days a week, every week. So, yeah, it's interesting, because I'm like, I don't know what days I'm currently working, so I'm just like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna say I'm available to work in the evenings. But they're just like, no, we want someone that can work in days. I'm like, I can occasionally do a day, but not that much. And also here, like, the buses don't run on Sundays, which is fucking fun. So I'm like, yeah, sweet, I don't know how to fucking, I did, like, no job's gonna pay me well enough. And like, because of fucking, I don't know, this is not a thing that's big, I think, in most other areas of the world. But for a while here in like all the maritime provinces of Canada, we didn't have shopping on Sundays because Sunday was the day you went to church and nothing should be open. But recently they started doing it, and that means they're only open like half the day. So instead of being open like 9 a.m. to like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., everything's open from about noon to 5. So that's 5 hours. And that's all you're going to get is 5 hours. Maybe like a half an hour, maybe an extra hour if you like stay a half an hour after and stay an hour before it opens and closes to like do backward stuff, like backroom shit, but you don't really get much money. And I'm like, I can't afford a taxi because the taxi around here to get from my place, which isn't really that far away, it's still like, it cost me $20 at minimum to get there and then to get home. So I'm like, I ain't doing that shit. And then people are like, well, why can't you do that? I'm like, because I don't own a fucking car, and taxis are expensive, especially for a 5-hour shift. Like, if it was an 8-hour shift, maybe I'd do it, but I wouldn't want to do it all the time. But like, 5-hour shift, fuck no. Also, like, one thing I'm slightly upset about is like, minimum wage here is less than in the province I grew up in. And that kind of pisses me off. I'm like, come on, I need more money. Like, ugh. But I get it. Now, here's another funny thing that's going on with me today is that, I can't afford to get my wisdom teeth pulled. And a dentist has already told me before that they should be pulled, but I'm like, I can't afford that, so I'm just gonna wait till they grow in and hope that they don't completely fuck up. But today, one of the ones back here, like on my bottom jaw, right in back, is coming in, and it's super fucking sore. Like, my jaw is sore. I could taste like kind of blood in my mouth because it's poking through my gums. It's painful. So my mouth hurts. And I hate that. And like, because my mouth is sore, I'm starting to like saliva a bit more than normal, and I'm having to swallow that, which makes it worse, and I hate it. Like, stupid bullshit. Like, I kind of wish I had been like most of the dudes in high school, where they're like, their wisdom teeth came in like during high school, so like my parents could have paid for it. But like, nope. So now I just got the, like, fucking sorest mouth that I've been dealing with for, like, the past, like... At this point, it's been a couple of years since my wisdom teeth started coming in, like, full-time, where they're actually, like, really hurting. And, I hate my existence. Whenever they start coming in again, I'm like, oh, God. Like, for the most part, it's fine, but, like, when they start growing in more, it's so fucking sore. And, like... to get wisdom teeth extracted, it's like a couple $1,000s. And that's like if I didn't want anesthesia, which I wouldn't take. But like, ow. And I cannot afford that. Especially since like I had braces as a kid, so like their whole thing was that they were supposed to like just fucking, fix my fucking mouth. And like that was part of his thing, was to make room for my wisdom teeth. But like, there's not really much you can do for, like, wisdom teeth growing in pain. Like, you can use, like, an oral gel shit, but that doesn't work for me. So, like, literally, I've been taking, like, Motrin. I'm like, here's a Motrin. But it's not really helping today. And now my mouth is just super fucking sore. But I still have to work on my webcomic, and I still wanted to do a stream, because for, like, right now, when I have work, I'm working on doing streams on the weekends, because even if I work, my shift is pretty easy on weekends. So I'm like, okay, no matter what, even if I work that day, I'll do streams during, like, weekends. And then I was like, okay, I can do that. But, like, I don't want to miss doing streams just because my mouth is sore. And I know it's going to be sore tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to do, like, I'm going to be probably watching G1 reactions, so that's going to be fun. My mouth is going to be sore. But, hey, you fucking live life, and occasionally your mouth decides, hey, we fucking hate you. And, like, people who don't know, this is my webcomic, The Shadows. I started writing the story back in high school, like, grade 8, I'd say. And, like, I've been working on it since, and I started publishing it when I was still actually in university. But, like, I've been publishing it, and right now I'm currently doing redraws of the chapters. I'm on the chapter 3 one currently. And the reason I'm doing redraws is because I was like, oh, the plot, this is not going well. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to redraw all these old chapters to kind of fit more of the narrative in and make things a bit more easier to understand. I'm doing that right now, and currently my life is like, we just hate it. But I like working on, like, I want to do my webcomic. It's just, I got shit in my life. And, like, now that I'm, like, working more on my webcomic and stuff, I'm, like, starting to realize I'm, like, I need to have a fucking life. And also, like, this isn't, like, the only thing I do on the internet. I just do, like, I do other shit, too. Like, I do my streams and all that stuff. So I'm, like, that's kind of one thing I'm kind of glad about, like, right now is that, like, I do art streams. So, like, whenever I need to work on my webcomic, I can do it on an art stream, but I also like to use my art streams to do fan art. But actually, like, a bit before the stream started, I did some fan art, which was a good thing for me to do. Because, like, if I didn't get it done earlier, I probably wouldn't get it done, because I'm probably not going to have time to work on my fan art after this, and, like, that's okay, but, like, I don't know. I think I've been on social media too long, and, like, I started to realize, like, if I want to get anywhere with this kind of stuff I do, which I still do for fun, but, like, if I ever wanted to go anywhere with this, I have to, like, submit and do, like, art at a certain pace, or else people won't really pay attention. And that's just the kind of thing with online stuff. Like, streaming is something I've really been, like, wanting to fucking do for a long time. Like, I started with YouTube videos, and then I was like, YouTube's kind of dying, so I started doing streaming. And, like, something like this would be, like, a dream job. It'd be nice. Like, I could do my work, like, I don't think at the moment I'd quit my current job, because I just, there are things about that job that I like outside of it just being like, oh, this pays the fucking bills. Like, it makes me feel like a decent person to work there. And if you don't know, we serve, my current job, what I do at work is cook meals for seniors who can't afford it, like, who can't, like, cook for themselves and shit like that, which is so good and so great for, like, my soul. But, like, I don't know, this is just a me thing, but, like, I don't think I could leave that job anytime soon, like, because, number one, I get free food out of it, which is nice, and also, like, I just have a good time when I'm working there, which I've never really had with work often. Like, I've had jobs I kind of like, but I've never had a job where I'm like, I enjoy this. And it's actually made me think, like, maybe I want to do something that's, like, I don't know, like, stuff for people and stuff like that, but, like, it's hard. Because I'm, like, still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to school for, like, early childhood education, which is basically the requirement for being, like, a daycare person in my country. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But, like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing with my life 98% of the time. So, like, and a lot of people, like, some of my colleagues are like, oh, you like art, like, why don't you go do that? And I'm like, because art doesn't pay. And, like, I'm not like my best friend. My best friend, she's a tattoo artist. And, like, she makes good money at doing tattoo. And, like, she's a good artist, but, like, I'm like, I know my skill set. I'm not that good of an artist. And, like, you have to have serious talent to get into art world nowadays. Like, serious talent. And I do not have serious talent. I have just enough that people are like, oh, you're good at art, you should do it for a living. And I'm like, like, one thing I actually thought about, like, if I ever wanted to do anything with art, I'd want to be, like, work in cartoons and do, like, storyboards and stuff like that. But, like, that, unfortunately, is just not going to be a thing that happens for my life. I am, unfortunately, too realistic minded for that. And also, like, I just know that you can't always get what you want out of fucking life, even though you feel like you should be able to. And that is just something that I've just accepted, that art is not going to be something I can do for my living. My best friend's very blessed. She's very good at art. She went to art school. She has, like, an animation degree. And, like, she just picked up tattooing and just, she's good at it, so she can make a living doing that. And then she also, when her tattooing business was shut down, she was, like, making commission art. And that shit's really good, but, like, it's one of those weird things where, I don't know. And it's kind of the reason why I don't just do art streams, because I'm like, yeah, if I was gonna do, like, be good for, like, art streams, like, just art streams, that'd be kind of hard. Because, like, there's so much better artists than me, so it's kind of like, why it became just a thing I also do. But, like, it'd be cool if I could do this for, like, my living. Like, it'd be so nice doing something I actually enjoy all the time. Because, like, I'm not as young as I look. And I say this, and people are like, what do you mean? Like, everyone thinks you're... I mean, people have thought I'm 16. I'm 24. People still look at me and go, oh, you're in high school. And I'm like, no, I'm fucking not. I'm an adult. I drink beer. I pay bills. But, like, I don't know. I think because I get so, like, recognized as a kid, I'm like, a lot of jobs that would hire someone don't want to hire me because, like, despite, like, my work experience and things like that, like, my last job where it was kind of like, oh, yeah, you need, like, all this work experience and it's kind of like fancy-ish attire kind of thing. Like, those people are confused with me because I do not look the age I should be. And, like, if you're gonna buy, like, something like furniture or something, you want someone that looks of age, and I do not. And that really, really annoys me over, like, my life. Like, over the years of my life, I've been like, okay, this is no longer just annoying. But, like, I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I'm just like, I realize that a lot of people have predispositions about me. And also, like, my work history is kind of wonky because, like, a lot of places that I've worked at have been, like, very minimum, like, for wage and everything. So I've left to get better jobs, which means they're like, oh, why'd you only stay here for a little bit? And I've also moved provinces, which meant I was without a job for a while. Because looking for a job in an area where you're not at all familiar is hard. And then I was very sick for a while, so I didn't work during that period. So, yeah. So I just have a lot of kind of things where I'm like, oh yeah, this is working against me. Which is why, like, my point is to go back to school, because I'm like, I won't make it doing the kind of stuff I've been doing so far. Because, like, these kind of jobs just wreck my fucking mental health. And, yeah, now it's my fucking scene. And, like, there's a couple of big companies that I just won't apply to anymore. Like, I'll never work in a Walmart again. I worked there. I hated it. Hated every fucking moment I worked there. I can't work at Timmy Ho's because I used to work there, and my store got blacklisted. And also, I just quit at a weird time when I was high on pain meds. Yay. And, yeah. And just a couple other places where I'm like, I've worked there before, and I left because of stuff that was important to me, but they won't look that highly on it, so I don't see the point in applying at all. If they're just gonna be like, hey, why'd you do this? And I'd be like, not what you're thinking. Like, fucking shit in my life exploded. Like, quite literally. And like, it's just an interesting terrain of my life. People are wondering, like, oh, what will you stick with? I have PTSD, and when I got really diagnosed with it, it fucked up my life. I was also going to court for it, to, like, charge my abuser for his shit. So, yeah, I was kind of fucking not in a good mental state for a couple years. And, like, now I'm better, but, like, now I'm, like, I have to sit through and, like, I'm slightly being punished for shit I kind of didn't have much control over. Like, my mental health was bad. I had to stop working. But now people are like, oh, why weren't you working? And I'm like, how do I explain this without you going, you're crazy? Because that's another thing, like, because I have PTSD, I'm technically disabled, but you can't tell anyone when you're applying anywhere that you have post-traumatic stress disorder. You can't. Because they think when you're telling them that you are basically saying, hey, yeah, I'm crazy. When really, I'm informing them of a disability. And it pisses me off. But, like, I've kind of just gotten used to the fact that I just don't tell them that. But then I can't really explain gaps in my work history because I'm like, how do I explain that I was just very ill? A little part of my brain wants to be like, kind of lie to them and be like, I had a serious chronic illness. Because saying it's because of mental health reasons, they don't like that. And I don't know. And I fucking hate it that they're like, oh, well, it can't be that. And I'm like, it's really hard when you've had a lot of issues and now you just can't tell people, but it's the only explanation for certain things. And it's a pain. It's a pain. So, like, right now I'm currently, like, for a job. And I do have, like, I'm lucky I got set up with this program around here that, like, helps people that have, like, mental health issues or mental disabilities get work. But, like, my old worker was super nice, and now she's gone, and now I got a new one, and, like, she's not bad, but she's just not as helpful. So I'm, like, trying to get shit done, and, like, I don't want to leave my current job because it's good for my mental health, but at the same time, and I also just signed a contract to be there for the next 3 months, so I can't leave now, and I'm like, eh. So, it's just a lot, and if this fails, and I am not being able to, like, support myself, like, the only other option is to go back home, but if I go back home, my mental health will fucking drop. And I do not fucking want that. I would rather just keep my visits to my home province to a fucking minimum. And people are wondering why. I live in a very small province, and I just don't want to be there. Like, even when I'm there for visits, like, there are certain places I just fucking won't go to. I'm like, nope. And, like, I look at nothing I am kind of unrecognizable, but at the same time, I'm like, I ain't risking this shit. Because I do not want to be recognized. I do not want to be fucking recognized. Because that would fucking, like, that'd be a pain in the ass. Like, it's such a pain in the ass to, like, explain. And I do not want to have to explain. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah. But yeah. Also, like, one thing I really use in my webcomics is chibies. I like the idea of, like, chibies are cute for good, when I want to do, like, design shit where I'm just like, I don't know. I find it, like, heightens expressions that I'm trying to draw out. So, like, chibis is something that I've always kind of used in my webcomic. It's just something weird where I'm just like, oh yes. Yes, I want a cute reaction, or I want to make the character smaller. Chibis. I think it's because, like, for a good chunk of my life, like, and I still like this stuff. Like, I still watch a lot of anime. I'm not as big into, like, there are a few shows where I'm just like, yes, I watch this show, and yes, I love it. But, like, I've kind of, I don't know. I'm not nearly as big as what I used to be. Like, when I was a kid, well, when I say kid, I mean, like, teen. When I was a teen, like, I watched mostly anime. Like, the only cartoons I watched were of my two favorite genres. Now I've kind of dipped more back into more cartoons and left a lot of shit behind, like a lot of anime stuff. I still watch anime. Like, literally before the stream, I was watching Sweetness and Lightning because that's just adorable. And then I was like, okay, I watched an episode of this. I'm gonna watch this new show I found called Welcome Chitose. And it's goddamn fucking adorable! Like, so goddamn adorable. It's literally about a little baby emperor penguin chilling out around Tokyo. And it's so goddamn cute. I also said it was like living with a dog and a cat makes my life happy, and the cat's just the grumpiest motherfucker ever. And, like, they give him a voice of, like, a Yakuza boss, and I love it. That's the kind of shit I watch. I don't really, like, shonen is not my thing. Like, I do watch occasional shonens, like, I watch My Hero Academia. But, like, when people are like, oh, I'm watching Fire Force, and I'm like, yeah, I want to get into that, but, I get distracted by cutesy slice of life anime that make you have the feels. That's where I get hit and left for the next 48 years. Like, one of the silly comedy, like, gag, like, shows I was watching was, like, this is the premise. And the premise tells you everything you need to know about my fucking sense of humor. Imagine if feudal warlords, like, fucking, shit, what are the fucking names? Good job, brain. But, like, imagine feudal warlords from Japan, like Nobunaga and shit like that, as fucking dogs. Reborn as dogs. And just living life as dogs and arguing historical facts. That is my shit! Like, I fell way, way more in love with that show than I probably should, considering the fucking premise. And I was like, oh god, I'm gonna watch this, it's gonna be funny, and then I fucking, like, was so eager every time a new episode was coming out. I was like, fucking yeah! And I'm like, this is where my life is. Like, my taste in anime has changed. Also, like, I've heard, like, another show I watched when I was in high school, like, Italia is coming back, and I was like, oh, fuck. Because Italia is cute, and I find, like, some of it funny, but, like, nowadays I'm like, oh, God, please do not bring that back. I remember the fucking fandom. That fandom was so toxic. That fandom was bad. that's like a lot of things for me is that when I like something, because of my PTSD, I end up with a lot of autistic tendencies, which means I get very big hyperfixations and things that I'm like, this is my special interest. And because of that, I get into fandoms really fast. But fandom has changed since my early days on the internet, and now, like, every time, like, there are only a few fandoms I really enter into, and, like, and then there's, like, some fandoms, like, the My Hero Academia fandom can be very toxic. But I enter and only go to certain things. Like, I follow a couple of role-playing people on TikTok. Like the lady that pretends to be the school psychiatrist, therapist, who's like, her quirk is she can tell the truth, but it's stopped by alcohol. That is my shit! And, like, I follow, like, the ships for, like, the adult My Hero Academia characters, but, like, other than that, I'm like, I'm out. Because, oh boy. Fandom has just changed, and, well, some of the changes make sense, because, like, I understand, like, more modern views, but, like, certain things, I'm just like, just fucking chill out. Like, get the fuck out. Like, this is just something that we like, and stop fucking making everything into something bigger than it is. Like, that was a big thing with a lot of fandom stuff, is that a lot of new fans, like, put way too much emphasis on things that are, like, kind of like, oh, this is a fandom thing. I'm like, yeah, it's a fandom thing, but, like, stop making it into something bigger than it actually is. Like, people that pair, like, characters, like, ship characters, like, that are minors in the show, and I'm like, number one, they're fake. Number two, most of the time they're pairing them with someone else. I don't know about you, but I'm not attracted to men, but I ship two men. Or I ship man with a woman. I'm not attracted to them. I'm gay. I just think aesthetically this is cute. And then I like reading fics about it because I like the idea of these characters being together. There's a difference. This is like, there's a boundary. And I don't think a lot of shippers get that. Like, not a lot of younger kids get that. And I'm like, sorry, but we ship this. We're not attracted to that character. Sorry. Or one thing that's getting me really confused right now is people cosplaying characters that are of younger ages and being like, just don't sexualize them. And I'm like, well, yes, you shouldn't sexualize a character you're cosplaying that's a younger age, but with certain characters, it's not really them cosplaying the character, it's cosplaying the idea of the character. Like, let's talk about Sailor Moon. You've seen a good chunk of media that's ever talked about Sailor Moon has talked about how kind of risque the outfits are. And being like, yeah, there's jokes made here, there, and all that kind of stuff. Like, Robot Chicken has some good ones. And when I see, like, people sexualizing the outfit, it's not really them sexualizing the character. It's them going to the idea of how kind of, in a weird way, this kind of looked risque. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Because I'm like, it was kind of, like, not entirely implied by the show, but there's a few questionable things. And people made fun of it in media, and then it just kind of became a trope. I don't know. It's a weird subject where I'm just like, yes, I understand, but at the same time, like, I think some people are doing it just because they're like, oh, this character's, like, popular. Like, some people will cosplay Sailor Moon and not know her age. Which is understandable. Because she's not drawn to look like a teenager. Like, she does not look like her age. And that happens a lot in anime. And that's why I think a lot of these pairings are weird, because it's like, but they don't look their age. They don't look it. A good chunk of time. Like, I'm sorry, that's just a weird thing. And then there are also the reverse. Like, there's some anime characters where they're like, you're 27, you look 10. It's just the thing with the art style. And I don't really know if that can be really be blamed on, like, main fans, because, like, I don't know, it's a weird subject that I understand both sides, but at the same time I'm like, I get it. Also, like, one of my favorite shows, like, when I was a kid, I still remember this. When I was a teenager, I used to have a lot of, because I was really obsessed with Inuyasha as a kid. If you cannot tell by the 9 mega volumes of Inuyasha that are up on my shelf, that I'm still determined to collect the rest of the goddamn manga because I love that. There are some interesting topics there because I used to have a lot of Inuyasha porn on my computer. Like, one time one of my brothers, like my stepbrother, who's a creep, looked at my computer and was like, what the fuck? And I was like, dude, don't judge. I've been on the internet. And he's like, fair enough. And I was like, I remember back in, like, the early days where you could find a lot of doujinshis for free via the internet. And I was 13, and I was like, doujinshis, let's go. It's a weird little section of life. Where I realized, I should not have been left alone on the internet. But I was also really into fan fictions back then. And, like, this was back in the time of lemons. If you don't remember the fruit rating system, you're too young. And you probably should never read a lemon. But, like, I did, and I'm like, Like, I think it formed me a lot as a person, and now I'm just this weird middle ground of, like, because I learned all this shit when I was far too young. And, like, that can change a kid. It's actually part of the reason why I thought I was straight. I never thought I was straight. I always knew I was gay. I just didn't know to the degree of gayness. I thought I was pan for the longest time. I'm like, I'm pan, I like men, I like women. And then I realized over the years, specifically a year or two ago, that I'm gay. I just happen to ship and like ships of men in media. Like, men in media, like in cartoons and stuff like that. Or fucking Sans from Undertale. Don't judge. Like, I ship that stuff. But then as soon as it's in real life, I'm like, hey dude. It's all gone. But women, I'm still like, hi. And that's how I realized I'm gay.
Kitty is lying with me. Her feet on my belly, her belly stretched out in her floof, floof, floof. and her sleepy little face. I have a kitty napping with